James Marsden, welcome to Q.
Thank you very much.
Wouldn't it be
Thanks for
funny
having me.
if after we just talked for like 10 minutes, my voice is completely changed? James Marsden.
Now all I'm going to think about is how to change my voice or if it's changing.
Is that too low, that microphone?
No, I like to lean down because it makes me look cool, but no one's seeing it, are they? Wait,
Yeah,
it is
on
video. It is
video.
video. Oh, look,
Raise-
look at that.
raise-
look
raise
at
it
that.
up a little bit.
See,
Raise it-
now they know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, raise it up a little bit.
right, yeah.
We'll get on the same
People
level.
don't know I'm actually 6'6". So.
I was really surprised. Like when you meet Conan O'Brien for the first time.
Yeah, he's tall,
He's
isn't
like 7'9" or something like that.
he? Yeah,
Yeah.
7'8". Yeah.
Before we get into Westworld, I found out an interesting fact about you. I want to know if it's true. Did you get into acting because you met DJ Tanner from Full House, Candace Cameron?
Some of that is true. Yes, I met her on a vacation. I met the whole family on a vacation in Hawaii. They were staying at the same hotel, and I was at the pool. I was 16 years old. I thought I was, the coolest thing, and well, I was not. But they said hello, and I was like, wait a second, that's the girl from Full House. Anyway, we kind of got to be friends, and she was 13 at the time, so she had older sisters as well.
But she was famous.
That were. She was, yeah. But I was fascinated with the industry, and obviously I knew the show and everything. But we kept in touch, and she was very encouraging. So hey, anytime you want to come visit in LA, so I came out to visit them. Went to the set of Growing Pains. Went to the set of Full House. That's funny. Growing Pains. When I went there, Leonardo DiCaprio was on the last season, so I got to
right, because he was
see
in it,
him.
right?
Yeah. He was there. He was like adopted son or something the last season. I don't know. But it wasn't necessarily, I guess, why I got into Hollywood. I just kind of went home feeling like the cock of the walk back in Oklahoma going, yeah, I know celebrities. Yeah, I'm going to move to LA and be an actor.
Right. You were the coolest guy in Oklahoma that day.
Well, I thought I was.
Yeah.
I thought I was. I wasn't really actually close to that. But it was enough for me to think, oh, well, this is encouraging. Maybe I'll actually, when I'm done with high school, maybe move out there and give it a shot.
And since then, it's been a really interesting trajectory. So, I mean, I'm not going to name the whole...
Interesting is the right word.
I'm not going to use the IMDb page here. I had a friend of mine do an interview the other day, and someone hauled out the IMDb page, and they said, so you were in Lost. What was that like? That's all it was. So you were in House of Cards.
What was that like?
What was that like?
Terrific interview.
I know.
Terrific interview.
Well, here goes question 4. You played Cyclops, no BS mutant in the X-Men franchise, Prince in the movie Enchanted, Corny Collins in the film Hairspray. It seemed... Well, I'm curious. What made you want to take on this role as Teddy in Westworld at all?
By the way, 3 of those movies, were they all movies? 2 of them shot in Toronto.
No way.
First X-Men and Hairspray.
One of us?
Yeah. So thank you. That's what I was fishing. That's what I was fishing
welcome
for.
home.
Look at this. I'm growing. I'm like 6'9" now. I got to lift this thing up again.
What made you want to take this on?
Westworld was something that it's just unlike anything I've ever read before, and now we've seen what's unfolded with the story, and it's a very ambitious show. I don't know. I just thought the sort of general idea of it was interesting to me. Like, where are we going with artificial intelligence and fully immersive video gaming? And as an actor, how is that interesting for me? When I told somebody I'm in this new show Westworld, I play a robot. And they're like, oh, a robot? Oh, that mustn't be interesting. But now that everyone's seen the show, it's like, oh, you're not a robot. You're a sentient being that's been created to mimic or actually have human-like characteristics.
Did you have the same trepidation that people had when you talked to them when you first saw it? I'm going to play a robot. Did you feel that?
Not when I first. When I first read the script, I sat and had a long Skype conversation with Jonah Nolan, and he basically told me the premise, and he said, "Look, you can go back and watch the 1973 Yul Brynner movie, but what we're doing is taking the concept of that and expanding on it and making it into a full-blown TV show. And what we're doing is, it's not so much Jurassic Park where the attractions start to malfunction and start eating the guests. It's what happens if we follow this story of this theme park where it's inhabited by AI that are indistinguishable from human beings, right. And what happens when they start to grow and start to realize what they are and start to feel and basically become human to some degree. And that just was, I don't know, it just felt like that was really interesting to me. And the idea that down the line you could play maybe more than just Teddy, you could play different characters, I mean, that's not a spoiler. I'm not
sure.
just sending the hounds off the trail.
Yeah.
But it just, and then the caliber of people working on it was like Anthony Hopkins and Ed Harris and Tandy, and they were all on board. So it was a no-brainer for me.
I want to play a clip right now. I'll preface it by saying it's a bit of a spoiler for anyone that hasn't been watching season 2. So take a listen to this.
Hold him. I wish there was another way, Teddy. But where we're about to go, it's no place for a man like you. I'm so sorry.
You sure you want this? The change is this extreme. Without a full reset, I can't guarantee that he'll hold together.
To grow, we all need to suffer.
To grow, we all need to suffer. Just one of the many, one of the scenes from season 2 of Westworld that kind of sticks with you. That's the moment where Dolores takes it upon herself to change Teddy's programming against his will, turn him from sort of a kind-hearted, aloof hero to a more cold, calculating rebel for her android revolution. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I might take out the calculating. I think he's just, she basically was concerned about his, whether or not he was going to survive, having integrity and having, an ethical sort of moral compass that's questioning her decisions and her behavior.
I should point out that Teddy, like James Marsden, is in studio with me right now. When did you find out about the changing character? How did you react to it?
I knew about that shift right before we started shooting season 2. It wasn't a detailed description of what was going to happen, but I got the general sort of arc points of where we were going in the season. So I knew that was coming. I didn't know in what shape or form it was going to take, but it was interesting for me as an actor because one of the things that like Evan and Tandy so beautifully did in the first season was since episode 1 they started to open their eyes and see the world with a new set of eyes and understand what they were and reach a certain level of sentience or consciousness and Teddy was. He was sort of tethered to his programming for the most part of the first season, and season 2 came around, and he is awake and understanding and questioning all of it, and all the while trying to survive. So it was a cool thing for me as an actor. It was like, this is going to be an interesting change for him, and fun to play a completely, the pendulum swinging the complete other direction, and getting to be Dark Teddy, I guess.
There's so much about Westworld that's been written about, and I don't want to belabor too much about it. But there's a couple of things I wanted to ask about. First of all, in season 1, you saw a number of reviews that kind of talked about often they would characterize it as gratuitous sexual violence in Westworld. Did you pay any attention to that? Did you notice these conversations were happening?
I didn't really pay much attention to it. I did. I was aware of it, that those conversations were happening. I anticipated that they would happen.
Yeah.
But it's always handled really beautifully by our showrunners, Jonah Nolan and Lisa Joy, and they're very sensitive to it. And I think what the show does is like, yes, it is. A lot of it is in your face. It's intense, and I don't think it ever gets to be gratuitous. I think what they do manage to do, and it's definitely in the first season, is all of the nudity and everything is completely desexualized. It's actually taken the form of like, well, look at the cruelty that's how these beings are being treated. And anyway, that's it's one of the big points of the show. But we've said this before that it's our show. It's not creating behavior; it's reflecting it. And I think what's nice and interesting and depthful about the show is that we're holding a mirror up to ourselves and asking. What it means to be human. Why do we have a propensity for violence, or what? And we explore all those themes. And Jonah could speak more articulately than I could about that.
But what about you? Has doing this show changed your relationship with technology? I mean, are you more suspicious of AI, of your phone?
Someone said something interesting to me the other day. I'm forgetting who it was, but it was someone who knew a lot more about it than he said. Usually with humans, the less you know about something, the more you fear it. With AI, the more you know about it, the more you fear it. Wow. So that's ominous. Yeah. And I'm still avoiding knowing too much about it because I don't want to go down that path of absolute fear. But
doing the show must have made you.
A little bit. I mean, I still don't. I mean, I guess you show up and you do your scenes, and you wonder like what could this world exist? Is this where we're going? You know, is this like I said before, fully immersive video gaming, like to the point where you are actually inhabiting the space with the with the characters you normally would see on screen, and what my knowledge is limited as far as like what the real dangers are with the future of AI. But yeah, that does scare me if someone says that these things that we create could reach a level of intelligence that would make us obsolete.
But even just how we're consumed by the technology that we do have. Like, are
Oh, yeah.
you a phone guy? Are you?
I am. I'm totally yes. I am. I'm guilty of it. I try to zero in on the the positive things that can come from it, the spreading of good information, or FaceTiming my kids,
Yeah.
But
That's nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
but there are parts of it that I have to actually discipline myself to step away from, which is I do feel like it's not a good path for us to go down to just have everything, full autonomy and everything done for us. I mean, WALL-E, the Pixar movie WALL-E is one of my favorite films, and it sort of in a playful way, not playful, but in a light Pixar movie kind of way, suggests that we might be going down this place where it's just, we become complete obsolete creatures.
I mean, I don't want to pry, and the last thing I want you to do is give too much personal information. But like, do you think about how your kids are going to relate to technology as opposed to how
All
you
the
do?
time.
Because you
Every
and
day.
me, I mean, I guess we're probably around the same age. Like, we didn't have the internet. I didn't have the internet until I was,
Yeah,
probably
we're kind of
12 or
those
13.
that generation that saw the world before it and saw the world
But
after
your kids,
it.
I'm guessing they're young.
Yeah, they don't know a world without the internet.
And what's it going to be when they're in their
I don't
30s?
know. I mean, I'm wondering if there's going to be not a backlash, but if they're going to sort of take a step away from it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to introduce and encourage them to the joys of things that are tangible and tactile and experience. My son and I just rebuilt a car, and he's he's a car enthusiast, and we bought this old 1999 Mazda Miata and rebuilt the motor, and he was in there with me working on it and put an exhaust on it, and he loves that more than he does his phone now. So it's just like reminding people and kids that human connection, physical connection with people, with something, is sort of, in my opinion, irreplaceable. And while in the digital world, there are many benefits and ups to it, I just hope there's a great line in Jurassic Park, actually, from Jeff Goldblum, is your scientists were so worried or spent so much time wondering whether or not they never stopped to think whether they should.
Right.
I just wonder if, I'm not sure what social media is doing to us. I'm not sure what,
Especially with you, because I was thinking, like, you can't probably walk down the street. I mean, you walk down Queen West right now, people are going to say, oh, there he is, and come over and take photos. Like, your privacy has been compromised in some manner.
To some degree.
To some degree, right?
Yeah.
And what's interesting is with social media, we're volunteering that compromise.
Right. Well, I used to say I was fighting the good fight for the longest time to not subscribe to that kind of thing.
You weren't doing any of it? You weren't?
Well, yeah, no, I wasn't at all, and I am on Instagram now. But for a while, I was like same thing what you just said, which is I can't demand privacy, and I can't do this and put myself out there and also expect privacy and demand that.
Yeah.
And some people think, well, no, you can have both. You can walk and chew gum at the same time. You can.
Yeah.
There's a way to, but it's essential now. I mean, not for some, but it's just changing. Like you use it for press now. You use it to make people aware of the show and whatever. But,
Yeah, sure.
But it's and can be like lucrative. Like you can people make money posting posts on Instagram. But I try to use it as press. Like before we had social media. You would do talk shows and do press junkets, and you still do all of that stuff. But this is just another format where you can reach people and talk about the work that you're doing. I try not to get too personal on it.
I don't want to be a guy who wears an old boot, is walking down, knocking down generators in the late 1800s, but I'm still...
No.
And I have it
to
all
go
too, but it's still kind of...
far back in time.
It still kind of freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah.
It does.
There's always the extremities on both sides, right? I mean, there's an intelligent, disciplined way to go forward with technology and use it for good.
Speaking of going forward in a positive way, it's been an interesting year for Westworld. Evan Rachel Wood, one of your co-stars, disclosed that she would finally be getting paid the same amount as her male counterparts. You must have read about this.
I did, yeah.
And did you and Evan ever talk about this? I'm curious, like what is the role of men here in the entertainment industry?
That's a big question. Well, no, actually, to your first question, Evan and I never really spoke about it.
Right.
It was news to me that was the case. Those sort of private details when you're going forward with the show that you don't really know much about. And then when you do know about it, you go, why is that the case? That shouldn't be the case. There should be equal pay and there should be equal opportunity. And so the strides that have been made, recently are long overdue, and I think just, and I'm happy that that's all happening.
Yeah.
But those aren't conversations we really get into, on set, because it's just I guess it's stuff that you don't ever want to say. Hey, how much you getting paid?
Yeah, right.
Anyway, but I'm happy that's where it's going.
Speaking of the conversations you have on set, do you spend much time people giving you fan theories? I know if you go on like subreddits for Westworld, there's a theory that Teddy's a clown and will live in the circus and come out of a gigantic car. That's more my personal one.
That's a pretty good one. I think I now got a new answer for what's the most ridiculous one you've ever heard. I love that people have the fan theories. I mean, there obviously is an element of the show it's a puzzle, and there's riddles there, but obviously there's a lot more to it than that. But it's a testament to the enthusiasm that's out there for the show for fans, and I don't actually go on Reddit and snoop around looking for the most bizarre thing, or I've seen anyone's actually got it right. To be honest with you, this is how far behind I actually am. I didn't know what Reddit was until earlier in this season. There's another word that I don't know the name of, but the Jonah, the showrunner, and Evan did a
AMA?
No, they did a thing where they tricked the Reddit people into thinking they were going to give away the plot of the
okay.
the second
I don't know what
season.
that is either, but I think I know what you're talking
You
about.
got the name of that? What's it called? It's a Rick.
Oh, he Rickrolled him?
Yeah.
So instead of giving away the plot, they played
Yes.
Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up?
Yes.
No way!
Yes. Yes. But so that's when I asked two questions: what's a Rickroll and what's Reddit? So I had no idea, to be honest with you. So
we had Rick Astley in here not that long ago.
I mean, that's a bucket list check, right?
He got Rickrolled. His true story. He told me. He said he opened up his email and someone sent him a link.
Wow.
And it was his own music video.
I had no idea what any of that meant.
I
didn't know
man.
what the whole
You and I'll
Rickroll
lace
thing.
up some big boots and go out and take out a few generators. And
Telling you.
But James, it must be meaningful because fan theories and analysis of sexual violence, analysis of AI and the way what is a human, all through the lens of Westworld, means that the show is having more of an impact in a greater social way than perhaps most television shows. Like, do you ever get a chance?
agree.
Do you get a chance to reflect on that?
Yeah, I do. I think it's an important conversation to have, and we need to continue having the conversation. And maybe sometimes that will be uncomfortable, but it's important in our growth and our understanding. And in the themes, just sort of thematically in Westworld is, especially in the second season, is what happens when the oppressed get their free will, and do they take on traits of the oppressor? And so those are certain things that we explore for sure. But there's definitely a sensitivity and a what's the word I'm looking for? A responsibility that we all do, and the showrunners take very seriously on the show, and it's not lost on them the impact that this show can have in the world today, and it's important that we don't ever take advantage of that for entertainment's sake, or anything, or that things don't get gratuitous, that it does that it is handled with sensitivity, and all the while the show needs to be enjoyable and entertainment as well, but these talking points are not lost on the writers and the showrunners, and so I'm proud to be in the company of people that take that very seriously.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, same. I appreciate it.